to the first episode of Small Town Sports. I got Tapper to the left of me. It won't be him every time. Ashton is currently slumped. He'll be the host to the left of me for most of these episodes. He had work last night, so I let him sleep and just called Tapper in. So basically, this podcast is going to be a shooting the shit about basketball. It's the basketball version every Tuesday. We'll hopefully drop them between 5 and 7. That's the plan for most of this shit. So we're pretty much going to kick shit off right off the rip with Dono's 71 points. What happened last night? The guy to my left is a huge fucking Mitchell fan. So
Yes,
you can
sir.
kick it off, big dog. Have fun with it. What you want?
Second highest scoring, like points, assist total, first ever 70 and 10. Shit's crazy around here.
He dropped a block with that too. So the Cavs, I thought everyone thought the Cavs lost that trade because of recency bias at the beginning of the season. Utah had surprise success, to say the least. They're currently sitting in a low 7-8 seed right now, expected to not even make the play-in. They'll probably be bumped out. If they're in the play-in, they'll be beat out by whoever's in that. I don't know.
Mavs.
Yeah, the Mavs, the Lakers. It's very unfortunate, but the Cavs, they have a solid roster after this trade. Garland, he's had, I think, 2 50-point games. You have a veteran.
45 and 51.
Yeah, you had a veteran bench in Kevin Love mixed in with some young guys like Dean Wade and all those guys.
All they need to do is find a solid 3.
Yeah, they're not big names, but they're big role players for that team. That's why they succeed. That's why this team is as good as they are. Jared Allen, everyone thought they busted on that trade too. Everyone thought that the Nets won that trade, and we know what happened there. So,
Karis LeVert.
Yeah, Karis LeVert trade happened. I can't remember who they got back for him, but that trade did happen. I'm not surprised they did it. They didn't need him, personally. But yeah.
Need who? Huh?
Karis LeVert. At the time, they didn't need him.
Oh, okay.
It was just a young stud that they wanted, but they got rid of him to Indiana, which ended up saving his life, which is pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, the Nets, they have a solid core. They have a solid star, 2 of them. Everyone's making the meme that LeBron's coming back next year or in the next 2 years, which he's not. The Cavaliers will not take LeBron back. It's just not going to happen. We'd love to see it, but in my opinion, it won't happen because if LeBron gets there, he will blow it up. He will ask for Garland to be traded. He'll ask for Love to be traded. He'll ask for Allen to be traded. All their picks will be. The Cavs know what they're getting into when they get LeBron, so they're not going to do that. But,
although it would be nice, if he just went and stayed, did not request no one gone.
It would be nice, but it's highly unlikely. The Lakers are in shambles, not because of LeBron, but in my opinion, because of Rob Pelinka saying yes to LeBron. That's the problem with that. But go back to the Cavs. They got Jared Allen. He's a stud. He's there for, I think he's on a 4-year deal now. Depending on how this works out, I can see him extending. I can see Donovan Mitchell extending unless New York offers him a max.
Oh, he's still got like 5 years left on this deal.
Yeah, he can't get a super max, but he can get a max from New York. He can get a super max from the Cavs, I do believe. I'm not 100% on that one. But
I'm not mistaken, he needs to finish out his contract and stay for 2 more years because it's 7 years for the Supermax.
Okay. So there's that. And then they'll be in the playoffs this year and probably next year, depending on how things go. But this year they're a top 3, maybe top 5 lock, depending on how the end of the season goes for them.
I got them top 4.
Top 4. I got them top 5. I got them at the 5 right now. I don't see anybody going ahead of the Bucks, the Nets, the Celtics, and maybe them at the 4.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's what I mean.
Maybe. But yeah, and then we're going to transition here to Luka. 61, 21, and 10 on above 50% efficiency. Starving on a horrendous Mavericks team. What's your thought on that? What do you think? What do you think of Luka's performances this year and last year? Personally, I think they're outstanding, but it's not just.
He would be MVP if his team wasn't.
If his team was better, that's my thing. I blame it on the team. I do blame it on the front office, but at the same time, he's very selfish. We see what's going on with Jalen Brunson in New York. We see what's going on with Kristaps and Washington. Neither of them are playoff teams, but both of them are averaging around 17. So
Yeah. I look at it as another Harden situation. Harden, Houston, 2018, 2019, just got the skill, got the talent.
ball
Doesn't work.
dominant.
Doesn't work good enough with team.
Yeah. He wants the ball, he demands the ball, but nobody knows how to build around him. Is the problem with Luka. But he had a generational all-time wrap it up, put it in a bow, fucking drive it right to the river. Amazing game. Just shows how special he is, shows why he is in the MVP conversation, but he won't win it because of the seed his team is in.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and Jokic are the locks, in my opinion, this year, because I don't think Embiid's going to win it.
I think you also have to throw Giannis there. He's just, he'll always be in that category of the top three, but
he'll be talks for sure. There's no way he's not. Yeah. He'll be in the talks, but he won't win it. It's just they're looking at. They heard the talk of centers don't win the MVP. It's a forward thing. It's no point guard has really won it recently besides Curry and Russ. It's just the voters are listening to the narrative that the centers and the younger players need to win it, and you've seen it the last couple of years with Giannis, who was in his 20s. He won it young. He was a forward, and then they talked about last year or 2 years ago how there was a drought of centers winning it. Shaq was the last one. Jokic has won it the last 2 years. So you're gonna see a lot of big men
forwards.
A lot of big men and young studs winning the MVP over players who are the MVP, is what I should say.
Yeah, like Tatum, I would love to see him win it. Mitchell would love to see, but I know Tatum's 32, 8-8, but I don't think voters look at that as enough of doing it all. Jokic, Harden, Russ, Giannis, they all had pretty nice stats, like 10 and 10, along with decent points.
They're the only player who's won the MVP at a low seed is Kareem and Russ. And the way Jason Tatum, in my opinion, will win it this year is because of his seeding, and he's putting up phenomenal numbers. They're going to look at his internal stats, which might give Jokic the edge because it's what's given him the edge the past two MVPs is his internal stats and the advanced stats right down to the decimal point. So I think Jason Tatum deserves it. I think the Boston Celtics, they're studs. They're insane as a team. They play team basketball. They do, but Denver got the upper hand the other night as well over them, and that's going to go into voting for sure. They're going to look at the top two finalists' records against each other and who had the advantage and who played better and who came out in the upper. There's just so many analytics that go into the MVP talk. So my lock for the MVP is Jason Tatum or Yoke. I don't think you'll see Embiid.
I want to see Giannis. But
you want to see Giannis? I don't think you will.
I don't think. I'm hoping not to see Jokic. They best not let him three-peat.
That's another thing is voter fatigue, but they want another three-peat MVP. I don't think it's been done since Larry Bird or LeBron. I cannot remember.
No, Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. Yeah. So I don't think you'll see Yoke three-peat simply because of voter fatigue, but I also don't think you'll see him lose it because of voter fatigue. This year is the tightest MVP race there's ever been, in my opinion. There's no one person who's going to win it. He's ahead of the pack. There's Jason Tatum averaging 30 with 8 and 8 on fucking sitting first in the East, I believe, maybe second.
Yeah. No, first.
First in the East. And then you got Luka putting up my career numbers sitting 8th. So they're taking records into account.
Yeah.
Well, but in the East, it is a tough battle with the Nets' recent success as well. They're on a 10-game or 11-game 12-game win streak now.
After last night, 25-12 record.
And I think a lot of that is not because Ben Simmons stepped up or because it's has to do with Kyrie being back, but also the media not backing them into a corner anymore. The lights are off them, the pressure's off them. They can just go out there and hoop. They also fired Steve Nash, which we all thought last year was going to happen, but it ended up fucking happening this year, so they blew that up. The injuries have finally backed off of them as well. They got a lot of good players. They got Yuta, who's the highest 3-point percentage in the league, I believe.
Yep. It's 56% or something. Maybe a bit higher than that.
He's putting up
That's insane.
Good numbers as a role player. You got, who else is on there? Seth Curry, Patty Mills. They can pick up the slack when Kyrie needs a break.
Didn't Seth Curry get traded to the Sixers?
No. He got traded from the Sixers.
I thought he was in that Harden deal.
No.
Okay.
He came from the Sixers on that Harden deal. Yeah.
Okay.
So Nets are one of my locks for the East Finals. They're not my lock to win it all, but they're one of my locks.
I was gonna say, I want to say, they're a lock, but
East is good. East is good. It comes down to personal opinion, personal preference, right?
And the amount they collapse is just ridiculous.
As long as they, in my opinion, as long as they stay healthy, was my next point. Their health has gone up. Nobody is really sitting out for them anymore. KD hasn't been injured since his big injury, but Kyrie has taken time off due to COVID and his anti-Steminist, whatever it is, comments. He was forced to take time off and do his due diligence with that. I messed that word up, but it's fine. He had to take time off for that. Ben Simmons back. He's a whine ass. So as long as the injury bug doesn't bite them, and in my opinion, the media stays off them, they'll be top. They'll be part of the top.
Yeah. My problem is they fold in the playoffs. I find, Kevin Durant without a super team, even with a super team.
KD fell, in my opinion. My Raptors were the ones who won that year, but we all got to look at it as KD. The game KD was playing, the Warriors were up 20.
Yeah.
So I think they would have three-peated. It's my personal belief, but they would have three-peated. I don't like to say it, but they would have.
Yeah.
So,
but that's best team all time. You can put up Jordan's Bulls, but I personally think the amount of star power, depth, everything.
Yeah. Everything on that Warriors team was insane. But as long as the Nets stay extremely healthy, they need to have luck on their side, though. I think you need to see some players fall in the playoffs for the Nets to make a push. I think you need to see Middleton fall in the playoffs this year if they want to get past the Bucks. Mainly because they're too small at that center position. They're not going to stop Giannis. They're not going to stop Robert Williams from out-rebounding them. They're not going to stop Al Horford from out-rebounding them. Bam. I don't see the Heat making the playoffs per se.
What?
I don't see them being good in the playoffs per se. They started off rough. They've had a little bit of light, but the Heat, I don't know what was going on at the beginning. I haven't really kept up with them most of this season.
Yeah, it's still Jimmy Butler, though.
Jimmy Butler does exist. That is right. But a lot of things got to go right for the Nets, and a lot of things got to go wrong for the other teams.
And I'm seeing the Heat as like a 6-7 seed, and I'm seeing the Nets as a 2-3 seed. So that's what I'm saying. Bam, first round.
Yeah, Bam.
Hero.
They're just gonna have issues at the center. They're not gonna have issues, in my opinion, all around defensively. Ben Simmons, still a decent defender. He's still going to get under your skin. He's still going to bother you. Jimmy is going to be a problem for Ben if they do match up, just because Jimmy's a mouthpiece. And like I said, Ben Simmons is a pussy.
You will foul him, though. Your boy would have more fouls and points for the first 6-7 games of the season.
Jimmy's that guy who's going to piss you off. He's going to get under your skin. And the Nets team has proven that they can't handle a lot of talk. KD has been known to be soft. He can talk his shit, but once you start poking at KD, he kind of gets upset. I've never seen it affect his game, but if there's anybody who can do it, I think it is the Heat. The Heat have shit disturbers. They got Kyle Lowry. He's a fucking mouthpiece, putting up 1 and 1 and 1. Jimmy Butler's a mouthpiece, but he's gonna drop 40 on you. Bam's gonna talk his shit. Nobody likes to see Tyler Hero talk his shit, but he's gonna do it no matter what. So the Heat.
Duncan Robinson's gonna sit on the bench getting paid 90 mil.
Yeah, Duncan
4
Robinson.
years.
Duncan Robinson. He's on a $94 million contract, and he's played 3 minutes a game this season.
Yeah.
Don't know why the Heat don't just move him. That could lead us into one of our next topics is trades. I don't know who we want to see traded, who we think needs to get certain stars. We touched on the Nets already. They need a center.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are looking to blow it up. You could get something for Drummond. Bring him back.
Drummond. I don't want Vucevic.
You don't want Vucevic. He's probably one of the worst paint defenders as a center in the league.
Yeah. What other centers could they get?
You could get Drummond. He's got size. He doesn't have a lot of speed to him, but he's got to go out there and get you 8, 10, and fucking 1 on top of 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Like he's a massive body in the paint. He does his job.
I'd love to see them go after like Steven Adams, Jonas Valanciunas, you know.
Yeah, those are guys. Those guys are. You could talk about trades for them, but they're locked in their teams.
Yeah.
Because they're
contenders.
They're high seeds. Those guys aren't leaving. The Nets. They need to look at teams who are looking to blow it up, like the Atlanta Hawks. Go after Clint Capella. You could trade a star for Clint Capella. You could put together a package, couple of picks, couple of your role players, just to harden out that center position. In my opinion, I would trade Nicholas Claxton for Clint Capella. That might mess up.
From what side? Like you looking at it from the Brooklyn Nets side?
Yeah, from the Brooklyn Nets.
But from Hawks, I'd want to like a pick.
I was gonna get into that. The Hawks could demand a couple of picks. Nets give them the picks they want. Simple as that. You got some Philly picks.
Yeah.
Trade the Philly picks. Philly, they need to do something, because you can't trust Embiid to drop 41 every game and Harden to drop 30 assists every game for them to fucking win a playoff game.
Shouldn't have to, but
you shouldn't have to, but it's what's going on. I get Maxi's been out. I get Harden has fallen with his injuries, but
Embiid can't stay healthy to save him. Like,
yeah.
Does he even have an 80-game season?
No, I don't think so. Tobias Harris, though, been
stepping up.
He's been stepping up. He's been there for a good amount of time, but his trade value is high right now. You could get a stud for Tobias Harris. I don't know who would be shopping for him. Maybe the Lakers. You get a bunch of their role players for Tobias Harris. I know the Lakers aren't winning. That's with LeBron James and Anthony Davis out. The Lakers can win with. I mean, it's the Lakers. The Philly can win with Harden and Embiid with the Lakers role players, in my opinion. They can do that.
It still comes down to Embiid's health. Harden's health over the years has been deplenishing.
That hamstring's gonna haunt them. He did sign, I believe it was a 1-year deal. He took a pay cut for PJ Tucker to come there. Tucker is doing what PJ Tucker does, I guess.
No. Man went 4 games without a fucking field goal made. That's crazy.
Well, what he does is he talks his shit. What a lot of those role players do right now is they're talking their shit. You're going to go out there, you're going to get under their skin. That's what PJ Tucker does.
Yeah.
Didn't work on KD, though. He still came out of the championship that year. But Philly's got to look at trade options. The Lakers have to look at trade options, not for Russ per se. If I'm shopping trade options, it's my role players for better role players. You can put together packages for Bogdan. Detroit needs to give it up, let it go, let him go. Let Bogdan fly. Let him do his thing in LA. Simple as that. That needs to happen. The Lakers need to shop trades. They need to get over those fucking picks and move on. You got LeBron for 2 years. You got AD for 5. You need to put a fucking team around them.
Yeah. I think blow it up.
Blow it
The
up.
Lakers gone. LeBron doesn't want to finish his career there at all.
Well, our time at the moment is running down. Zoom
I
just gave me a warning.
that.
I gotta
9:39.
Yeah, I gotta do something with that after. So we got about 10 more minutes we can ruffle through. We've been on here for what, about a half hour?
Yeah.
Close to a half hour, I'd say. We've covered a lot of the bases that I wanted to cover. Lakers trades, all that were one of them. The Lakers, like I said, they need to blow the fuck up. They need to get it done, get it over with. And if you're not going to blow it up, you need to trade LeBron James, not for your organization, but for LeBron.
Yeah.
He brought you a championship. You can say he brought you a bubble ring. Lakers were the best team in basketball. Best team in basketball that year, sitting at the 1 seed.
By far.
They were running through the West. There was nobody in the East that was going to stop them. That was the weakest East in recent memory. KD and Kyrie were both out.
You got Jimmy in the finals.
Yeah, Giannis and the Bucks. They folded. Celtics were still the baby Celtics at the time, I guess you could say. The Raptors, they weren't gonna compete against them. The Heat, you still beat the Heat in the same amount of time you did in the bubble. You're gonna beat them the same amount of time in an arena.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You know, you do LeBron the favor of saying, hey, we get what you've done, but it's not just doing LeBron the favor, you're doing yourself a favor. LeBron is still a draw.
And you're doing Bronny a favor.
Yeah. LeBron's still putting up past 2 games. He's had 40-point performances with multiple assists, multiple rebounds, multiple steals, block. You're going to get a lot for LeBron. You're going to get a bunch of picks. I know Skip Bayless said you wouldn't even get a first round for him, but Skip Bayless is also the guy who fucking decided to say that the Bills game shouldn't have been canceled out last night. So
yeah,
I'm done listening.
Prayers up.
Yeah.
No, hope that man recovers.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to touch on is Lakers organization. Either get rid of LeBron now, before he wants Bronny, or you're stuck. You're done for the next 10 years because you're gonna have to trade everything for Bronny to keep LeBron there.
Yeah. And you at that point,
it's not worth it.
Same old conversation we've been fucking talking about is those picks for Russ as a package. Fucking move them. Move them. You're gonna get a young stud possibly for Russ, not just for Russ, but for those picks.
Yeah.
You can trade your role players. I'm sorry, Dennis Schroeder. He's hooping. I don't know if anybody who's gonna watch this, maybe the 3 viewers who watch this, they probably watch Lakers basketball at some point. He does.
Lonnie Walker.
Lonnie Walker's got value right now. Thomas Bryant, now that he's back, he's been a good center. That's another good center that the Nets should look at.
No one likes to admit this, but Pat Bev, he's still a dog out there on defense.
Pat Bev
still going to get under anyone's skin.
That's Pat Bev. We all know what he was brought there to do, is to play defense and mouse, and that's what he does. The boys are just, the Lakers are struggling. They need to do something. They need to blow it the fuck up. And then another thing is the Bulls blowing it up on top of blowing it up. They're looking to blow it up. The Lakers need to get on the fucking phone and start making some calls down to Chicago, because the Bulls are sitting out of the play-in right now. They're talks to blow it up. They're in the toughest East. This is the toughest East I think we've ever seen, besides from the Jordan days. Blow it the fuck up.
Yeah, because hang up the phone with Indiana. You missed your opportunity. Turner and Hield, they're doing amazing right now. Their value's up.
Yep.
I think it was just a couple nights ago that Pacers beat down on Cleveland by 10. Buddy had 34 points. Man, stepping his game up.
Rob Pelinka needs to use his head. He needs to be a GM. Chicago's still willing to take on the Russ contract for the year. to clear up cap space for the next free agency. I know they want the picks too. You're gonna trade Russ for DeMar DeRozan, possibly Vucevic, but possibly Levine because Levine wants out. You got 3 guys there that you have the option to trade for. You need to take your pick of the litter and get on the phone with the GM in Chicago and say, hey, this is my offer. These are the players. These are who I want. You get DeMar DeRozan. You're not a playoff team right now per se, but you still have free agency next year to sign role players around DeMar, around LeBron, around a constantly injured AD. You have to compensate for Anthony Davis's injuries, which they cannot seem to do. They need to figure out a good backup power forward. Thomas Bryant isn't going to cut it for 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You declined Dwight a 3-year deal on a vet minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's in China. He's going to do good no matter what, but he's still the body you need. He's still the body you need down there.
All right, Nick, with 3 minutes, 50 seconds left, I say we quickly talk about the other team in LA.
Clippers?
Just thoughts.
They're a good team.
Playing like 20 minutes max, you know. I heard he had a good game a couple of days ago, but like I don't know how 6 seed, you know, with
this is the Zion situation all over again. You got your star player on a minutes restriction. But the thing about the Clippers is they have John Wall and Paul George who are gonna Paul George is obviously gonna be Paul George. He's gonna step up. John Wall is not the John Wall of old, but he's still gonna give you points. And then you have Luke Kennard, you got Norman Powell, you got your role players. Rocco's still there. He signed a $3 million deal 3-year deal last free agency. Zubac is still hooping. He almost put up a 30 game.
My problem is it's like the Zion situation, except for Kawhi's old. Not old, but he's, you know what I'm saying?
He's pushing 30. I think he's 30 now, maybe. I can't remember. Maybe 29.
And not everyone recovers from that stuff.
No. Kawhi has made his living off of his defensive game, and if his defensive game starts to lack,
the offense is there, but
the contract that he's on, you don't get a lot for an old Kawhi who can't defend. You're gonna get a lot for a Kawhi now, but you don't get a lot for an old Kawhi who can't defend.
Yeah.
The reason Kawhi went to the Clippers was to get out of the limelight, and it seems that the more he's been there, the more the light has been shining on that Clippers team, and it's not for the good reasons. It's for pandemic P, or it's for Kawhi's legs, or it's for Pat Bev shooting the shit about them. Clippers are a good team in a bad spot. Sacramento Kings have been a surprise this year.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, it's not recency bias for me. They're a playoff lock, 7th or 8th seed. Pelicans playoff lock, Memphis playoff lock, Suns playoff lock, Denver playoff lock. A lot of good teams in the West, but Memphis could come out on top.
I don't see Kings as a playoff lock. I have them a lock as a play-in, but Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Mavs, Clippers, Suns, Trailblazers, Warriors.
You're going to go in the play-in. These are the 4 teams you're most likely going to go against. You're going to go against either the Warriors, Timberwolves, Mavericks, and then your Sacramento in at the 4th spot. And in my opinion, you beat the Timberwolves. So
unless they change it around.
Yeah. Well, we got 1 minute left, so I'm just gonna close it out here. I'm gonna upgrade to pro right after this podcast, and then the next one should be as long as I fucking want.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's the first episode of this.
Who you got for the ring quick? Just a real quick. I want to hear your ring.
The Celtics this year.
All right. I'm gonna have to either that or have them fall into KD. I don't think that 4-0 sweep's going to sit well in KD's stomach.
Yep. All right. Well, that's the first episode of Small Town Sports. Hopefully you guys tune in Thursday. Thanks. See you later.